I'm Pam.
And this is the Brandi Pam Podcast.
Yeah. Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe, yeah. So click like below, subscribe. Make sure that you tell your friends about us too. We're relatively new to the game.
And share this video with your friends.
Totally. Yeah. So this episode is going to be pretty much about how to successfully bond with a new friend.
As an adult.
As an adult, not a kid, because obviously as kids you're just not.
Kids really know how to do it though. They have like
they're fast friends.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the smallest thing will make them not friends anymore. I'm not your friend anymore. Like, you took the jump rope from me.
And the smallest things will make them friends. They were like, I like the color blue and he likes the color blue.
I like to bottle flip. You know? Maddox made a friend with somebody in the park and he remembers him because they bottle flipped together. And his mom was so fun because she put food coloring in the water.
Ah.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, I'm not a
cool
fun
mom.
I don't even know why I didn't think of that. So it's funny because I feel like, you know, I made like fast friends with this other parent, and we were talking about just like making friends as an adult and like what makes it easy rather than what makes it difficult. Because the first episode that we had on bonding as an adult with new friends is basically no new friends because we don't need that old baggage, we don't need that old drama and all that kind of stuff. But his twist on it was that as an adult, you typically have already sifted through some of those things. So you come to the new relationship knowing better how to navigate the relationship, even if it's a new person.
Sometimes though, you will run into somebody who hasn't actually done that work.
That's true too.
And I recently feel like I've encountered a person like that where I like them a lot.
Yeah.
Like I wanted to be like friends with them. And we had a lot in common.
I know, it was so disappointing.
And then I slowly started to discover the baggage and like the red flags and like my antenna were up. I'm like, uh-oh. And then
I
was like, okay, this is probably not going to be a relationship that I want to continue.
And then how do you?
But I wanted it so bad. I was like, dang. I was like, I thought they were going to be cool.
And it's like, you know what kind of work they have to do.
Yeah.
It's not like your place, so to speak, to like just tell them like, hey, you gotta get therapized.
Yeah.
You know.
And they admitted that there were some issues that like they still haven't quite like healed from. And I think felt like they were doing the work on their own, like they were okay with, you know. So
and, you know, you and I have had that discussion before, where you're like, don't you think that you might want to like talk about this with a therapist? You know, because I've had some issues with family, and I'm talking about like daddy issues, mommy issues, sibling issues, all those kinds of things. And I share that with Pam, and Pam is like, do you think you might want to see a therapist? And I'm like, no, because my experience with a therapist, and this can happen also, my first and only experience with a therapist was that he just agreed with everything I said.
That guy was terrible. Back in high school, I remember sitting in on a session, and I was like, why are we here? Like
my mom sent me there. She said, I think you're angry. And I was like, okay, right? Because I'm like, I don't even like to be told how I feel, right?
We spent a lot of time in that therapy session with you talking about an ex-boyfriend that was very... All right, well.
At that age, like, what else is there to talk about besides a boy, right? Like, just silliness. So that was my experience. And I think I just have to let go of the idea that therapy is, I guess, like, it doesn't work. You know what I mean? Like, we don't know that it doesn't work. It just depends on, like, the therapist that you have, and you have to make the connection, right?
Yeah, that one therapist that I tried when I was, you know, going back, I told you how I didn't like her because she tried to act like everything I was saying was so shocking. Like, she had never heard nothing before. She was like, oh, he did what? That happened? Like,
yes, and it's like, oh my God, how sheltered are you? Have you ever been a therapist before today?
Yeah, it was like, whoa, now, calm down. Like, my stuff is not that bad.
Well, and then you start to feel a little judged because you're like, no one's ever gone through this but me.
Right.
I don't want to talk to you.
Like, I'm not the only one
who can understand like what I've been through.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we were talking about that, like, you know, just like becoming friends and having done the work, or at least understanding your longer lasting friendships, and being able to bring bring a new improved part of yourself to the new relationship. You know, and I know it's messed up because I think about that with like my dad and my stepmom, and I'm like, oh, his marriage with my stepmom lasted longer than the marriage with my mom. Well, that was a second marriage. It was a second chance. You know, it was another opportunity to do right by somebody, and he did right by somebody. But not given that opportunity, how are you going to know? And like the first wife, she's had enough already. She's ready to give up on you. Whereas the second wife is like, okay, well, I've had my challenges too. I've had an ex-husband, and you are a second chance for me also. So the second marriage typically, and this isn't always correct because people have to go through relationship after relationship sometimes. But I understand now that worked because they had experienced things before each other, you know?
So how do you make friends as an adult?
How do I make them?
Yeah, like new friends.
You know, I just start talking to them at events. I like in person. So, I mean, now that we have children, it's easy to like make friends with other parents, especially because...
Is it? Okay.
Well, parents, you know, we have to take them to like different activities and stuff like that. So I find that it's easier to make connections with other parents, and they also want to make connections because they're busy home doing whatever they're doing with their kids, always talking to little kids, and they finally see an adult who understands their plight, and they're like, oh, let's get together and have a glass of wine while the kids have a play date. And that is like typical for my life now at this point. You know, like
it's interesting because like my kids are into activities and things too, but I don't feel like I have those same parent interactions like when I go out to my kids' events. But we have different personalities too, so like
I like to entertain.
You like to entertain. You don't like to. You don't typically like to leave the house.
Why? Why should I leave?
Like,
I'm a recluse.
Yeah, you really like to bring the people to you.
But it's not just that. I think I'm controlling.
You do? You think you are?
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, I don't want to disagree with you because this is your own assessment of yourself.
I mean, I feel pretty controlling. Like I have to hold back from telling people what to do sometimes.
Yeah.
I think I know how to do it better all the time. Like I just feel like
you did that earlier to me.
If you hold the knife this way,
and I was just like, she get on my nerves.
What was it? Paper plates?
Yeah. I was just like, what? I got the pizza, y'all, right?
We should have an episode called Paper Plates.
I ordered the pizza. It was sitting on the counter. They gave me paper plates. So I was going to put the pizza on the plates for the kids. And Brandi had a better idea. I don't even know how her idea was, but she wanted me to bring the plates over to the table. Which,
no, I thought,
in my mind, it's like that gives you less space to eat.
I thought that she was going to take the pizza all the way from the kitchen island across the room to the plates that I had set on the table. I don't know why I would think that anybody is that ridiculous.
So you thought I was going to like pick up a piece, walk it over, put it on the plate?
Yeah, because I didn't see the other paper plates. Anyway, I apologize for that because I did see that you had gotten plates from the pizza.
I have actually been putting pizza on plates for my kids.
Experience with that?
I have experience with it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've done it before.
Yeah.
Yep.
I
mean, maybe you have a better way. Your plates were better.
You know, sometimes I think that maybe it's because I'm dealing with children on a regular basis. You are too. You deal with way more children. Way more. Lots of them. All different ages. All different kinds.
Yeah.
But I'm dealing with my children, and I have this one particular child who doesn't use logic at all when he does anything. Okay. Like, he's a teenager. So he'll, he just takes the long way. It's like the long way to do everything. And I'm like, listen, the long way, you cannot take it every single time. You have to at least learn from the last time. And I'm like, oh gosh, here we go. So then somebody else tries to do something and I treat them the same way, and that's not fair.
Yes, it's fine. I had stepped back all the way, and I'm like, I'm not putting plates on any or pizza on anything. Like, you can do it now.
And that is why she has relinquished all responsibility when she comes over to my house, so that I can be in control, because she knows how to deal with me because we are old friends.
Yeah.
Now, new friends might be offended and be like, did she just try to tell me how to put pizza on plates?
I'll be like, whatever. I just sit down and I let you serve.
And it's funny too.
And I say thank you.
Some family members, even though they're family and they've been with you since birth, that would offend them to the point where they would just be like, let's go. And they would leave.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like, oh, I didn't do it right? Mm-hmm. Fine.
Oh, I'm dumb. That's not what I said.
I'm like, I don't really care.
I'm dumb because I didn't see that you had paper plates there. And that you would not bring it all the way across the room. Anyway, so I know we're just going on and on.
But anyway, we were talking about making new friends, and you were saying that you meet them a lot with your kids, with the activities they have going on.
That's one way. I mean, I don't really try to make new friends. You know, like I don't know. I don't feel like no offense to anybody who really would like a new friend, but I'm not desperate for new friends. I like the ones that I have. Friends are a lot of responsibility if you care. You know what I mean?
I would like some new ones.
Yeah, but they come with responsibility. You're accountable to your friends. If your friend needs to speak about something that is of any depth and is of any consequence, and you are unavailable, they may feel alone.
I'm available.
They might feel alone though, if you're not available. Say you're like dealing with your own stuff, like you're having some, marital issues. Like say I'm in an argument with Wah, and you call me about something you need. Well, I want to cry. So now I'm like, oh my gosh, you called me at just the right time, and I'm spilling all my stuff, and you're like, I never got a chance to tell you what I was thinking or feeling or whatever. Like we have to give each other space for that.
I mean, that's friendship no matter what, though.
But that's friendship. And I'm talking about true friendship, not just like some new acquaintance, like where you're like, hey, let's have a drink together. Let's all let's have a boozy brunch. It's not
Whose
like
voice
that.
is that?
I don't know. It's like somebody's voice. When they call you on the phone, they're like, hey, girl. What's up, girl? Right? Don't they do that? Hey, girl. Hey, girl, hey.
I don't know who that is.
But you want to call somebody and be like, hey, girl.
Mm-hmm.
I like doing that.
Yeah.
I like to do that.
So, yeah, you do have to have, the availability, and it is a big responsibility to have new friends.
So you gotta make space for that person. So sometimes you gotta get rid of somebody that's not really that good for you.
There's value, though, too, in having the friendships, because there's, studies that show people who have friends live longer. Mm-hmm. They are less likely to have heart attacks, and there's all of these really great benefits.
Yeah.
In certain communities, where they call the blue zones, these are places where people live the longest.
Where?
There's
Rwanda.
No, there's a couple of different places. I don't know all of them. I know one of them is Okinawa, Japan. Okinawa has the highest per capita of people who are 100 years old or older.
Yeah.
And part of it is because of their lifestyle. One of the things that contributes to that lifestyle is their friendships and the community that they have around them. So it's something that we can't discount, the importance of having friendships as you're older, as an adult.
Yeah.
So even though you might no new friends, no, you do need to have
honestly, no new friends is just something that I think well, first of all, Drake said that. He said no new friends, and then I was like, oh yeah, no new friends. And then I thought better of it, and I was like, wait a minute. Yes, new friends.
We evolve, right? You realize the reason, the importance of new friends who come into your life, and the different things that they add that are different from your old friends.
Yeah, different perspectives, and different types of intelligences. I was talking to somebody about different types of intelligences, and that made me so interested in having further conversation with her that I was like, oh my gosh, Pam would love her. Because you know what? Everybody I'm friends with, I like hope that they are all friends with each other, or at least they can get along or they understand each other, because my mom always said the key to getting along is
understanding each other.
yes.
Gotta have a quote from your mom every episode.
Yes. And that is one of my favorites because it really teaches me to slow down and try to, really just understand like where somebody is coming from. You don't always have to agree with somebody in order to have a discussion about it, in order to be able to come to an agreement of sorts, or like, make up your own terms. You know what I'm saying? Like you and I don't like everything the same.
Right.
Foods, maybe.
We like a lot of same foods.
We can eat together.
Yes.
We can throw down together. We can crack those crabs. I got some king crab legs.
That is one of my requirements for a new partner.
Yeah.
He got to crack my crabs.
New partners, listen up. She is not cracking those darn crabs. The other day, we were having so much trouble. Her little fingernails were like,
I couldn't
she
do
was
it.
like, I can't. And then she was like, did I get a cut under my fingernail because of this crab? I should not be doing this myself.
Yeah.
And you know what? Speaking of my dad, he always put the crab meat in my mouth. I ain't have to crack the darn thing. I was like, thank you, Daddy.
See, the small things that we appreciate, right?
And now I have a partner who cracks my crabs.
Yeah.
And he has to do it for the kids, too. So he's busy cracking crabs for everybody else. I don't even know if he eats.
But he likes that work.
I think he does like
He likes to work hard for his
He likes
food.
nuts that are inside the shells.
And anything that requires work.
Yeah.
Oysters, shucking those.
A fresh pineapple. Who wants to peel a pineapple? Nobody. Mangoes. But he said if you don't get it fresh, it doesn't taste good.
Yeah.
He doesn't like shrimp that's not in the shell and has the head on. But they do taste a lot better.
Yeah.
I will have you know, shrimp with the heads on taste a lot better. You will appreciate me for this. You're welcome.
They don't look better, though. I don't like
better.
that.
No.
I don't like that.
They look like roaches in the sea. Roaches of the sea.
So, can you give me some tips? Because I feel like I'm a little bit deficient with, like, making new friends, like, as an adult. Can you give me some tips on what I could do?
Well,
I need a coach.
I mean, I can only give you some examples, really. Okay, so the other day, I was at basketball practice with my 7-year-old. Maddox. Y'all seen videos of him, maybe? Maddox is a funny little kid. But we were at basketball practice, and this lady was parked up next to me, and I didn't know which door to go in. So I, waved her down, and I was like, excuse me, can you tell me which, you have a child in there? Are you going to basketball practice? Can you tell me which door to go in? And she was like, oh yeah, and she was very friendly. And I saw that she was friendly, so that when I went inside, I stood next to her on purpose, right? Because I want to make friends. I'm looking to make a community of people that, like I want to be friends with the children's parents that are going to be friends with my kids, so that I'm not at a birthday party all awkward. So she stands beside me, and I stand beside her, and we're talking. We chatted the whole time. We had such a great conversation about dinner. She showed me pictures of what she was going to make for dinner. I showed her pictures of what I was making for dinner, and we had a great conversation. But we would not have known that about each other if we didn't both open up and allow for that vulnerability to happen and say, hey, listen, I'm trying to make a friend, you know? And it was nice. And I really appreciate Ashley. Like, she was nice.
That's nice. So
that's just an example of something I've done in order to connect with somebody the first time we connect. And after that, you just kind of follow up. Like, send a text. Hey, Ashley, how'd your chicken turn
so you
out?
guys exchanged numbers?
We didn't. We found out that our kids aren't on the same team.
Aw.
And
so you're like, all right, well.
We awkwardly disconnected. It was so weird, too, because I really liked her. And I was like, should we just exchange numbers anyway and, like, have them play together anyway? Because, like, Kids love making friends with people. I don't care if they're on the same team.
See, but all right, listen to what you just said. It was like
disconnected.
When you thought your kids were on a team, it was like you were fine with like that. But then it was like, oh wait,
that's not the first time that happened.
It's like,
so my son liked this little girl, right?
And
he had such a major thing for her that he kind of love bombed her. Okay. But her mom and I were setting up a surprise play date for them that we never got to have because they broke up. Because the little girl got love bombed so hard by my thirsty son that she said it was a bit much for her, 7 years old, and she broke up with my baby. He came home from school that day and he was like, she broke up with me. He was so upset. And I was like, well, why did she break up with you? Maybe it's because you made me get my hair cut.
He tried to blame it on you.
He said, maybe she liked my hair curly and now you made it flat. I said, okay, it's my fault. He needed a haircut. My baby's hair was too long. But she did like his hair curly. And I don't think that was the reason she broke up with him.
Sometimes people break up with people and they lie about the reason. And sometimes they break up with people and they don't even tell you why they broke up. Like they ghost.
He was thirsty.
They kind of ghost you a little bit. Mm-hmm. They stop talking to you. They stop calling you. And you're like, oh my gosh, like what happened? Why did we?
You know, I had that feeling before where I was like, you know, I thought we were going to be something. And I gave him all this, you know, like, I mean, he gave me a lot of attention. So I had this situation. I was in my 20s. It was a long time ago. Long time ago. Gives me all this attention. He was perfect in almost every way. I'm talking about he gave me some perfect experiences. Perfect experiences. And I'm talking about in every way. Okay? And then I get back to Philly. I hit him up on the phone and I say...
He was an out-of-towner.
Yeah. We ride. Well, I was in his town when we did all the things. Get back to Philly and I'm talking to him on the phone and he says, oh, I just wanted to show you a good time. But I'm like, so we're not together now? Now that we had a good time? And
so wait, let's clarify a little bit about like what you mean by a good time.
So he took me to his grandmother's house for dinner, which is a signal that I'm good enough to be around his family.
Okay.
Right? So like that's something that you do with somebody you're serious with. I went to his church with him. His whole community got to meet me that day. Mm-hmm. Okay? I'm like, we're in there like swimwear. We're going to be together. We love each other. And then he took me to meet his friends where he was recording music. And I was like, I met all his friends. I met all his church community members. Mm-hmm. I met his grandmom and all his family. Mm-hmm. That's my boyfriend. Okay? I get home and he is not my boyfriend. And he made it very, very clear. And I was like, mine was blown. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, how could somebody play with my emotions that way? I feel like that was the most confused I'd ever been. And then Pam and I were talking about it, right? And I was like, oh my gosh, it had to have been me because he did all the things, right?
Or maybe he just didn't ever intend for it to be more than that. Like,
why would you take me everywhere you go and then tell me that I'm not the one? Who is the one then? Who's the one who gets more than that? Like, he bought me roses and champagne. I was like, who's the one if not me? I don't understand it.
I don't know. Dudes will do some crazy stuff.
Right?
It will mean nothing at all.
It means...
That's why I don't know why they complain so much about, like,
yeah,
money, people using them, where they not going to go, you know, and all that. It's just like, y'all will spend money on nothing.
Yes, they'll put it inside of
something that you have no intention of going anywhere.
Inside of somebody's thumb.
Yeah,
you know, like, and then complain about buying somebody some sneakers that they desperately need for first grade.
Right.
Like, right? That's the kind of stuff guys do.
All right, we got kind of like off track a little bit,
guys. Anyway,
so you said something about like Maddox love bombing this girl, and
so he love bombed the girl. She broke up with him, and then the parents, who were supposed to come over and hang out with us, they were just like, well, we both decided that we would have to wait for them to be friends again because like the kids weren't going to get along now. Yeah. So now we have to kind of like just disconnect and just pretend not to be friends in front of the kids.
Well, that's why it's hard when you make a relationship dependent on somebody else's relationship. It's like,
right.
we're only friends if they're friends. Because, like,
I'm
say, for
realizing
example,
that.
like, you introduced me to one of your friends. What if you stop talking to them?
It is awkward for you.
It's weird.
Yeah.
Even, you know.
You don't care, though.
That
You
one
can
friend
still be friends
that we have.
with everybody.
That.
Because you remain neutral. And you're really good at keeping, you're really good at keeping relationships compartmentalized. Like your brain is very organized that way. You know?
Okay.
Like where you don't let things overlap to the point where like you don't know how to feel about something. You know? Like you don't let your feelings drive everything you do.
Okay.
And your emotions. You deal in truth. Yeah.
That's a nice thing to say, I think.
I mean, I need that. That's why I'm friends with you.
Okay.
You know, like that's something I don't do.
I don't know if that's completely true because
I think I'm driven by my emotions way more than you are.
You definitely are
I'm
more
in love
driven
all the time with
Right.
everybody. I'm like, I met this old lady at the supermarket. I had her over for lunch.
I was like, what?
You know,
Why did you? Why?
and her baby grandson.
And then
Help
you're
me bring
like,
the bassinet in the house.
you're like, and I'm throwing a baby shower for her granddaughter this weekend. I'm like, you just met the lady.
Yep, that's me. That's what I'm gonna do. That's me.
I never quite understood that.
And I'll have Pam helping me with it.
And I'd be like, all right.
Can you help me decorate this baby shower for this lady I met at TJ
I'd be like,
Maxx?
sure. And I come over, I'd be like, you know what? I found these cupcake, found this pink banner. She having a girl, right? Okay.
By the way, I realized that I like a nice dry and organic Pinot Noir.
Okay, is that what this is here?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's by this brand called Natura.
All right.
And it's organic, and it doesn't give you purple mouth the way some of those other wines with dyes in them give you purple mouth.
Yeah, I don't think I knew a long time ago that that's why
Yeah.
that would happen.
I didn't know that either until I spoke to a sommelier. And I didn't even know he was a sommelier, but he started talking to me about wine in the wine store. See, people just start talking to me. And he was like, well, I'm a sommelier. And I was like, oh, wow. And he told me about all the wines, and I learned that this one doesn't give you purple mouth, and it's delicious, and it's Natura, organic, delicious. Enjoy.
Nice.
So I didn't get to have dinner with the little girl's parents, and our plans were canceled because my son a little overdid it with the girl. She was like, no, this is too much for me. I'm only 7.
Okay, so obviously, like that scenario then isn't going to work all the time with making friends because it could kind of backfire if your son or your kids like don't want to be friends with that person anymore.
Right, exactly.
You know? Or it's like when it feels forced almost like,
oh my gosh, what if our kids had a fight? What are we going to do?
well, we were friends first, so like that.
Yeah, but they're your kids though. So I was watching this movie last night, and the guy was giving advice. It was called Old Dads. Watch this movie. It's so funny.
Okay.
So he said...
Is it on Netflix?
I think so. He said, one thing you don't do...
You know I can't get on Netflix anymore.
Oh, all right. I'll help you out with that. So he said, one thing you don't do is tell somebody how to raise their kids. And I was like, that is so true. Like, you cannot. And I did not understand that when I first became a mom because I was a new mom and an expert at the same time.
You were a Pinterest mom.
Is that a thing?
Yeah, because it was you.
A Pinterest mom.
Yeah.
So a Pinterest mom exists? Like that's something that people say?
I made it up just now, I think.
Oh, you coined that. Okay, Pinterest mom. That's what I am. So I was a Pinterest mom. Basically what happened was that when I got pregnant, or when I thought I might be pregnant, probably because I was always pregnant before I got pregnant. I was like, I'm pregnant. So I would look up how to raise kids, basically.
On Pinterest.
Yeah, on Pinterest. I would get advice from all types of different moms everywhere. And I know sometimes it's insulting to like your elders or people who came before you who already are moms, but they're not doing it right. And you can tell because there's like all this other stuff that's happening with their kids and you're just like, all right, well, I want to do it better than this. Like I want to handle these situations differently. And I do mean better. I'm not kidding. I do mean better. I don't want a tantrum throwing 9-year-old. You get what I'm saying? Like a 2-year-old I can understand. But I was like, how do I get this under control quick? You know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to I want controlled, like, people who know how to regulate their emotions. So I looked it up. Because I was not trying to be chasing nobody around the supermarket.
Yeah, that's embarrassing when
It's
you have a kid that like has a tantrum.
And it's overwhelming. I'm trying to shop.
Yeah.
You know, I got to get food. I'm not trying to run after you. And if you ask me for a bunch of stuff, I want to be able to say no and my no be my no. You know, and they not, I want it! So, you still going to want it. You're not getting it because you say, I want it! This lady was so mad because somebody was laughing at her kids throwing a tantrum in the supermarket. She was like, why didn't you help me? Why didn't you help me? You laughed.
She said that?
She said that. She was on TikTok. She was like, you could have helped me. You saw me having a hard time, and there was people in line. They laughed at her.
Oh,
those aren't people you make friends with.
It makes me feel really sad because, like, if I see that, I don't. Well, sometimes I do. I do give little kids my teacher look. You know, like, don't you do? You know, if I see like the parent is just like distracted or just overwhelmed or like doing whatever, and I see them and we catch eyes, I lock eyes with them and I let them like know that I'm watching them. Or if I see them doing something, I'll shake my head like, don't you do that.
I gotta tell you something. And I don't know if I told you this before, but I was at Great Wolf Lodge and I saw maybe a 2-year-old having like a meltdown, full on, like throwing his body around everything, bright red, this little baby. I went up to the mom and I said, do you mind? And I took the baby from her. And I said, this baby is sleepy. I said, you hand me that. I said, hand me that towel. And we were at Great Wolf, so it was wet. It was like, you know, they were coming out of the pool. So I took the towel, I swaddled the baby, and I held the baby really tight. And the baby fell asleep. And the lady was like, she looked at me like, how did you do that? And I said, my spirit is very calm right now. I'm in the place where that baby felt safe. You are panicked. She was freaking out.
Yeah.
So that baby was freaking out. If your mommy is freaking out, what you gonna do?
Right, yeah.
Freak out. So she got to calm down. The baby was calm. And then I handed her back her baby. And she was able to nurse him. And he went to sleep.
Why didn't she just nurse him in the first place? That usually always works.
He was moving around too
Oh,
much.
he couldn't even...
Like, he couldn't settle down. Yeah, and I said, do you mind? And I didn't say any other words. I just grabbed the baby. She let me. She was that frustrated. She didn't know me. You know? And I was thinking to myself, like, back in the 1950s, she wouldn't have let no black lady come over and take her baby.
What do you mean? Yes, they would.
Maybe. I don't know.
Been taking babies since the beginning.
Nursing
them and everything.
You know,
Here you go.
My favorite line is, give me that baby. I was at a store today and I wanted somebody's baby. I was like, give me that baby. You know I'm going to take somebody's baby.
Oh, man.
Well, making new friends, I mean, it's easy and it's hard.
I'm going to try this week to, like, make a new friend.
You told me that a couple years ago. But your follow through is like, all right, so
okay, so this is where I need help.
Just DM us if you want Pamela's information so you can be friends with her. She definitely needs like quality friendships though, not somebody who's flaky. She wants you to show up on time. She would like for you to have a very broad, mature palate when it comes to tasting foods and stuff like that. She wants you to be complimentary, but not in an overwhelming way. She doesn't like too much touch, just enough. And if it's like, if it's a dude, and if she,
how you want to say how much touch I like?
I know how much touch you like from a platonic friend.
Oh, all right.
Not much.
Don't.
From a romantic interest though, she want all the touch. She's like, touch me, tease me, feel me, and caress me. Hold on tight and don't let go. But I mean, like, if you want Pamela's information, I got that. It's been the same for 20 years. You can find her. Yep.
This is gonna be the week. I'm gonna tell y'all. I'll report back about how I made a new friend.
Am I the only one that's like sipping on some scissor? I hate drinking alone.
Oh, sorry.
Cheers.
Cheers.
To Pam's making a friend this week.
Yay.
So how you gonna do it?
You were supposed to give me a little bit more tips. I feel like you gave me all you
Okay.
told me to do was to go to like
Just to have a better follow through than I did with the girl that I made fast friends
the
with.
follow through. I'm not. I feel like I'm going to the wrong places.
You gotta take the kids to hockey.
Parents.
All right. So you take them to go to Urban Air. No, Urban Air. That's hit or miss. They have apps now for that though. What is it called? Peanut.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, where you can just like make friends with people. But it's like so inorganic when you do it online. I feel like doing it in person is way more fun because you can see people's facial expressions. You kind of see what they're enthusiastic about, like what they get excited about when in the way their eyes light up when they talk about certain things. Like when I talk about food. You know, it's really.
Some people love to talk about
I
food.
like to talk about food.
Yeah.
Talk about food with me, please. I watch people's food channels all the time, but I guess that's why they make them for people like me. So I think that in order to make friends, you must first be open to that. Like leave the house knowing that you're going to receive a friend that day. You know, just like be on the lookout. Smile. Look at people. Say hello. Hi. I like your shirt. Oh my God, your hair is beautiful. Stuff like that.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to be like fake about it, but
Love bomb them.
I just tell people, I tell people the positive things that I really think about them.
Okay. The truth.
I don't
not the fake
pretend
stuff.
to
Okay.
like something about someone. So like, I mean, I compliment them or I ask them questions about themselves. You know, but I mean, I wouldn't say I do it right. I just kind of like know how to get people to speak to me.
Okay.
It doesn't always.
I
turn
guess
into a
that's why
friendship.
we ended up being friends, you know? You spoke to me first.
Did I?
Pretty sure.
Your sweater spoke to me.
Yeah, that's what you said.
Yeah.
You
I
were
was
like,
oh, my sister has that sweater. We should probably be sisters.
yeah. I was like, okay.
I was like, oh my God, we shop at the same place. That's how kids make friends.
Yeah.
We were kids, so
Right.
that's how we make friends. Exactly. Kids, we should have just, you know, I should just tell you, like, tell your friends to go tell your kids to go make friends and then make fast friends with their parents and that'll be it.
Yeah.
Phoenix, get out there and go make some friends for mommy.
He'll be like, okay, mom. And then he'll start singing or something,
Would you like to
entertaining
be
people.
friends with my mom? I can dance for you. I can also sing.
Right.
And now he's singing Jackson 5 songs, so that is adorable.
Yeah, he's really
Yeah.
cute.
Like, nobody's not going to like that.
All right. Well, like this episode, subscribe, and
Yes.
share it.
If you like the content that we're providing, you know, like our videos and subscribe to our channel. But also, if you have any suggestions for us as well, like what you want to hear us talk about, or some ideas of your own, some discussions you've had with your best friend, drop us a line. We would love to read it, and we'll read it out loud on the next episode.
And comment with how you make some friends as an adult. I would love to hear it and get the advice.
Yeah, and if you need Pam's information, I have that also.
God.
Because she needs some new friends.
Yeah, the ones I have
Well, you know,
are...
they just bring a different perspective. So. You know you like Pam. So let's go ahead and get her some new friends. All right. Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah, it's weird.
I'm like,
It's
what?
a tiny microphone.
Yeah. It's like, why don't it's a clip on it. Maybe the clip
How
broke
does
or
this?
something.
Doesn't this look funny? Hello. Hello. I just want to say hello to all of my fans out there.
How are we going to see if we're in a
It's
good...
so lovely